here we go. Who misses watching Jean-Pierre? If anyone doesn't know, he's taking a bit of a sabbatical. I think he's temporarily retired. He may come back. I don't know. All right, here we go.
Hey friends, I just made myself an amazing pork chop. I want to share the recipe with you and make it with sweet potatoes. Remember, thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell. Stay tuned, we're going to make it together right now.
Wise, I wanted to ask if you consider reacting to Steve at Vivaldi. Maybe. Depends. Does he have good content? Big channel? If he has good recipes, maybe we will.
All right, friends. Well, it's not really a secret, but we know if we want a perfect pork chop, we don't want to overcook it. Pork loin, pork tenderloin, same deal. We don't want to overcook it, that's for sure. We'll talk about that later when we cook it. But in the meantime, we have to introduce it because there's no fat in pork, especially the pork chop or the pork loin or pork tenderloin. There's no fat in there. So it's all in the bacon. So what we have to do, friends, is we have to introduce moisture. So then when we cook it, it doesn't dry out and it becomes chalky. Have you ever had a chalky pork chop? I certainly did. Going in some places, you want some pork? Oh, no, thank you, I'm good. So anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to make a brine. And a brine is really a salt solution with water and salt. So we can flavor it a little bit and give it a little bit of flavor. Not that a lot of that flavor is going to get into the meat, but a little bit of flavor. So what we're
All right, so guys, a brine normally is like what Jean-Pierre is saying, is to help to prevent the loss of moisture in the meat. So normally when we add any proteins to the oven, especially turkey, after so many hours of cooking, it dries everything out. So if you add more moisture to it beforehand, then it will prevent the extra loss of moisture. It can also help like marinate it to give it extra flavoring as well. So if you add other spices to it and everything, it helps. So it doesn't just have to be like a water salt mixture. You can add a lot of other things to it. That pork chop has a few lines of fat. Yeah, no, pork chops do. Some of them do have a few lines of fat. And I normally cut off the extra fat because I don't like eating a lot of fat. Flux, chef, I have a question. Do all restaurants use a microwave? I know it's a stupid question, but currently in a restaurant I've worked and they use the microwave a lot for soup, sauces, and sorry for all the Italians and spinach out there for paella and risotto, which I find confusing. Do all restaurants use it? Flux tracks. No. Yeah, not all restaurants do. Sorry guys, I'm just reading it. My audio's down, my audio's low. Catch Bay. Check your audio. The boring guy should and you whisper. Well, thank you for the nice comment, yeah? Keep it up. See what's going to happen if you keep writing to me like that. But thank you, yeah. Thank you slightly. But no, Flex. The restaurants shouldn't be using like any microwaves or anything. Normally, in a normal restaurant, an average restaurant, people have a microwave. I've seen a lot of microwaves in kitchens. In more fine dining restaurants, no. You don't do this. So in normal restaurants, though, you don't need to be using the microwave. We use pans, we use ovens, we use a lot of other things. Irem, if you can keep an eye on the chat for me right now, because I can't do it, please.
What we're going to do is we're going to take some juniper berry. If you don't have any, don't worry about it. It's just give you a little umami flavor. If you don't have any, you want to crush them, though. Crush it. You want to crush them. Don't crush anything. You want to crush them. And we're going to put this with a I got about 2 tablespoons of salt right here that I'm gonna mix with about a quart of water, roughly, maybe a little bit more. I got some garlic cloves. Like I said, the flavor of it, very little is gonna get in. Now we're gonna get a little bit of a flavor water. Some of them is gonna get in because the water is gonna get in to the pork. So we know some of that flavor is gonna get in there.
John, microwave is just a tool. It depends on how you use them. Reheating meals is not the sign of a good restaurant. Well, it depends on the restaurant, John, but it depends on things. So normally, yeah, a good restaurant, like a Michelin star restaurant, they may have a microwave for certain things, just to heat the center of a meal. But, ¿qué pasa? You don't want to be using the microwave to be cooking things or reheating like soups or sauces or anything like this. It's not meant for this, yeah, in a nice restaurant. You're a chef, you should be able to cook. So, well, I think the neighbors are drilling again. It's lovely, yeah, on the weekend. Today's a holiday here, so I guess somebody's off and they're doing all the work around the house. But in any case, um, a lot of restaurants, like if you have risotto on the menu, it takes about 20 minutes to make per meal. So a lot of restaurants, what they'll do is they'll par-cook the rice ahead of time, and you'll have a batch of that that's pre-cooked, and then you can make it or finish the last 3 minutes of the cooking process à la minute. So the things are already prepared. And a lot of restaurants where you see either lasagna, moussaka, or any of these things on the menu, cannellonis, anything like this is already been pre-cooked. They just reheat it. Normally, you can flash it in the oven, or you put it in another, like the Russian oven, a combi oven, or anything, and it superheats it. Mac and cheese is another one. All the elements are made, but you just need to put them together and reheat. Oh, thank you, Jason. No, yeah, I know the I that's the one reason why I got this mic. What's the depressed? What's the different types of pork I like? Me, I like solomio or the solomio now. It's the tenderloin. Yeah. So the backbone is very tasty. I also like bacon. Here they have a cut. It's called secreto, which is a very, I forget specifically what cut it is, but it's a very unique cut. It's in between the sirloin, I believe, and the ribs. It's a lot of fat in it.
Also, I put a little bit of soy sauce because that's going to be really an introduction of salt. Again, it's going to help us. So a little bit of soy sauce. We don't need a lot. What would you say? A large, healthy tablespoon. I'm also going to put a
Just a chupito, just a shot of soy.
little bit of vinegar. I like to use for the pork a sherry vinegar. I got this beautiful sherry vinegar. This is a 25-year-old Spanish sherry vinegar. It's beautiful.
In Spain, if you're looking for a sherry vinegar, they would be vinagre de Jerez. It's a very popular vinegar to use in the kitchen. No, that's vinegar. So the vinegar, first they make the wine, right? Because to make vinegar, you need to first convert the alcohol into an acid. So they have to first convert this or make it into wine, and then the bacteria converts that into an acid. Yeah, no, I do too, Robert. He's great. Chef Jean-Pierre, he's old school though. I mean, when you watch his recipes, you can tell he's more old school.
I'm gonna put it in here. I gotta put a little bit of sugar.
Pork crackling.
Oh, I keep forgetting to tell you about this thing. This thing right there. Keep my sugar. See, look, it's not sticking. My sugar is not sticking at all.
What is that?
And it's because of this stone right there that is made out of clay. And so I said, well, I don't have any one of those. So I'm going to break one of my clay pot and put it in there. It didn't work. Somehow this thing worked. I don't know how it works. But put about a tablespoon of.
He has a clay piece. He has like a little clay tablet in his sugar. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that in sugar before. Never. Miranda, I think she's in the hospital, Adam. I think she is. So I hope she's okay. I think she still has COVID. This is why. It keeps it from getting hard and clumpy. Oh, well, I've never tried it. Has anyone tried this, though? Really? Because I've never done this. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I may have to try it. Yeah, I hope she is okay, too. I mean, if you have to go to the hospital now for COVID because it's just like the common cold now, um, it's serious.
Sugar, and I'm using a brown sugar, light brown sugar. I'm gonna mix all this up, and I'm gonna put some water, friends. And this is about a liter of water right there. We're gonna mix all this up really good. We're gonna put it in here, and right in there, really simple. I'm gonna finish the whole bottle. Probably gonna need it all. The secret is to make sure your pork chop are solid. You know, I do the same thing with my pork loin or pork tenderloin. Same deal. You can do it in a Ziploc bag. Make sure the salt is well dissolved. It's very important. You may want to take a little more time dissolving it there, right? And then you're going to take your pork chop. I got some beautiful rib chops right there. And bone in, you can do bone out, you can do whatever you want. The secret now is to make sure we put a plastic film on top of this, unless you do it in a Ziploc bag, remove all the air, and you're good to go in the bag. Otherwise, I put my plastic right on top of this, and I let it. How long do you let it go? No more than 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours, and you're perfectly fine. So we're gonna wait.
You could do this overnight. I mean, the meat's going to absorb only so much liquid. It can't absorb everything. And the fat, I mean, the muscles, the cells, and everything can't absorb all that liquid. So it's okay. The thing is, though, this is more old school. In a more modern kitchen, you could see this a brining, but more than likely you're going to be seeing everything put into sous vide bags, the liquid poured in there with it, and then everything cryovac, meaning that everything is vacuum sealed, and then it will either be cooked sous vide or it will be, well, cooked later on, but that marination will be sped up and intensified because it's in a vacuum state. What's he making? Pork chops. He's making pork chops. Hi, everyone. Hey, guys. If we can get, what is it? The hype train going on Twitch, that would be fantastic. Let's see if we can get that today.
4 to 6 hours, 6 hours. We're going to wait 6 hours. I like to do 6 hours. And then we're going to cook it together. All right, friends? So we'll be back. I'm going to put them in the fridge. You put them in the fridge. And I'll be back in 6 hours. But for you, it'll be just to the flash. Okay, friends. Pork chop have been marinated. Not marinated. I'm start again. Okay, friends. Pork chop have been brined. They're ready to go. And we're going to take them out of the salty water. And we're going to dry them really, really good. And then we're going to saute them. Now, one quick little thing we got to do, and don't let me forget it. First I got to get rid of this. I got to make a couple of slits in the fat so they don't shrink on me.
So what Chef Jean-Pierre is talking about is that little white cap that you see here on the bottom, that little fat cap. When you cook pork chops normally, they will curl on you. And this is why I released a short recently with Gordon Ramsay making pork chops. It went a little viral as well. But Ramsay did just that. He took some scissors and just made a few incisions. You can do it. It's not the prettiest thing when you do this because then, well, it doesn't look very nice, but it's effective. It works.
I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. Actually, this fat cap is pretty good, so I don't think it's going to have any issue. But let's, they look kind of strange, don't they? But they're not. This looks better than this. Same thing, really. So we want to just take a knife right there, friends.
Also, now, keep in mind, Chef Jean-Pierre's old school, and he is doing this a lot like my dad would do the same things, yeah, in the kitchen, almost exactly the same. Just so everyone understands what he's doing right now with taking the raw pork chop, putting it on the paper towel on his wood cutting board, and touching everything with the tongs and touching everything with the pork chops, it's called cross-contamination, okay? So just keep this in mind. It happens all the time in the kitchen, especially when you look at the older videos of a lot of the older chefs. It happens constantly, and that's just how it is. If you watch, like, oh, who was it? Julia Child. You watch her cook, and a lot of her videos, she will be touching a chicken, like stuffing the chicken and everything, or the turkey, and then she'll grab a towel or the chef cloth, wipe her hands off, and go work with something else. My dad did the same thing. It's just how it is. So, in the newer kitchens, you have to be very careful with cross contamination because if you get anyone sick, that's a big issue. Very big issue. Years ago, I guess it wasn't that important. Albert, hello, chef. Any suggestions on a brand of a kitchen knife or set? Well, Albert, I made like 4 or 5 different knife videos. So, I mean, I personally like Wusthof because they used to have a cheaper option, which I worked with for many, many, many years. So I only spent like $100 on it, nothing else. But what's happened is everything's gone up in price. But even if you get a set from either like what else? Mercer knives. Mercers are okay. They sponsor a lot of the culinary like companies and then all the institutes. Mercers are good. Dexter's another. Dick's. Dick's is another, I think. It's been a long time since I've seen the US companies. Over here, Wusthof is good. Hinkle is another one that's very popular, but they're actually, I think Hinkle's are a little cheaper than Wustof's. So you may want to look at them. Any like Western knife, I would say, is a good set to get. And again, I made like knife videos. So if you want to get, or Victorinox, Victorinox is another good company. Lots of good knives. Thank you, Crimson. Yeah. I have a few knives from Victorinox. I used to have an old one. My dad did. It was a massive, oh, I think it was about a, what was it? Like 17, 18-inch chef's knife or something. It was enormous. It was this big. If I can put my hands here and you can see, it was about this big, the blade, from tip to heel, and then the handle. It was enormous. It weighed a couple kilos, that thing. It was a specialty made knife that the company gave my dad, and I don't know what he did with it, but he used to butcher a lot of weeds with it. It used to work really well.
And a boning knife would do just fine. Now, normally you got a big fat cap all the way around it. You don't have any. Otherwise, you just give it a little slit right there.
Javier, I've always taught that touching food before it's cooked is okay to do barehanded, especially in cutting things like julienne, because you won't run the risk of cutting the glove. No, Javier, it's one thing is touching the food with your bare hands. That's one thing. The other thing is touching raw meat with your hands and then touching something else that's ready to eat food. So think bread or meat or any other deli meats or anything like this that's already ready to eat. That cross contamination is a bad thing. Gloves don't necessarily fix the problem because I've seen people wear gloves, especially in food trucks. No, they're handling the food and then they go to handle the cash register, take your money that they're still wearing the same gloves, by the way. Yeah. They handle the money, they put that in the register, and then they go back to handling your food with the same gloves. That's cross contamination. You don't do that. You can get someone very sick. So you have to be careful. Even when you wear gloves, it doesn't mean that it's in like the end all be all, save all, everything. See, yeah, yeah, that's a no.
You see? You give it a little slit about every 2 inches or something. That avoids the fat from shrinking it, so they won't be very flat, and then they don't sear pretty well in the pan. You'll see. Just when you have a big fat cup, this one doesn't have any, so it's not that big of a deal, really. So I made a big deal over nothing for these guys right there. But they're gonna be nice. Let's see. You watch. All right. So I got clarified butter, friends, and it's ready. So I better move.
And
My
just so
clarified
everyone knows, that little laser thermometer is, if you can get one of those, is good. They're a little more expensive, but I mean, it's not necessary to get one of those. A normal one will work, but these will work on flat surfaces, which is why Jean-Pierre has it, and he uses it all the time.
Butter is ready. I'm gonna put some black pepper in there. You know, I like a very coarse black pepper. Salt, we're gonna go very light because we already got salt in the brine, so we don't need it. And I went side. That was enough right there, friends. And we are now going to put them in there, and we're gonna leave them alone for a second to get some beautiful Maillard reaction, caramelization of protein. Okay, friends? Gonna leave them alone. Now, you can do it in a fry pan if they're very thin, but when they're quite thick like this, you know, I like to pop them in the oven for a few minutes. That's what we're gonna do.
Now, Jean-Pierre, he gives excellent tips. It's only when he was making the paella and things like this that, you know, he may not be 100% sure on everything, but when it comes to like thick cuts of steaks or anything like this, he's right. You can, a thin steak, like a beef steak or anything, you can finish pan searing. It's easy. But if you throw it in the oven, it helps to cook everything from all angles. So instead of the heat source just coming from the bottom and you having to flip it, it would be a lot better in the oven. The only thing is that at home with electricity prices, it can get a little expensive turning on the oven all the time. My mic's low? Well, I'm sorry. I mean, I've been trying to raise my audio and it's almost spiking right now. Um, I don't know. I mean, some people are saying that it's loud, others are saying that it's okay. And everyone that seems to be saying this is on YouTube. So I don't know. Because everyone on Twitch, I think, is okay on Twitch. Yeah, and the cast iron skillets are great for this as well. If you have a cast iron pan at home, this works perfectly. Cast iron, I love to cook with because it retains the heat. Stainless steel is also good, especially if you have a good pan and it has a thick bottom. I wouldn't be using like I wouldn't be using a non-stick pan for this. You don't need it. I mean, you can, but you don't need it. All is good on Twitch. Thank you, Crimson, for letting me know. Thank you. Yeah, Adam. Well, if you watch Gordon Ramsay, he would be using his non-stick pan right now. He wouldn't be using just a stainless steel pan.
And now the secret, me clean this up. Besides the fact that we don't want to overcook them, we really, oh, hey, look, come back over here. See, I had to turn it off for a second. I don't want to overcook it. Let's put it that way. The most important thing is I do not want to overcook it. And pork, a lot of people cook pork like at 150, 165. Oh, mamma mia. This is very hot, too. This is very hot. Very hot, very hot. A little too hot.
This is what happens when you're not focused on cooking and you have the camera, yeah, in front of you. It happens. It happens to me, too. You're just not focused on cooking, and, well, things take off. Yeah, so if anyone is going to be making this at home, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me about the pork chops. Because I'm getting a lot of questions about well, a lot of other videos. Flux, I saw your video about reacting to a 2-day chocolate chip cookie. The reason why he rested the cookie dough is the method. What? It's the method called autolysis, where the eggs, flour, and sugar are going to ferment. Oh, like it's a fermentation process here, but you only rested the maximum of 2 days or else bacteria start to spread. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. I've never worked in pastry professionally, so if anyone has more experience in pastry, feel free to tell me. Yeah, Q&A time. Now that you're speaking of non-stick, cast iron, and different types of pans, I have a question for you, Chef. When you cook your eggs, do you have a specific pan that you like to use? Oh, of course, Javier. Um, when I when I make scrambled eggs, if I'm making it for like guests coming over, I'll probably use my nonstick. But if I'm making it for myself, I will use my stainless steel pan. I'll get it super hot, oil, piping hot. I'll add them, mix them, and I have very little sticking to the pan. Um, but if you don't do it that specific process of doing just that, it will stick to the pan like you know what, and you will have a bad time trying to scrape those eggs off. The same thing when it comes to cast iron. I've made stir frying cast iron and it sticks like a you know what to the cast iron. So afterwards, you're scraping. It's not fun. I mean, nonstick helps a lot, but the problem of nonstick is that one, it's not good for you. This is what a lot of people say. And a lot of companies say that they have healthy nonstick, but in the end, Teflon isn't the healthiest thing. So at home, we try to avoid it, but the reality is anytime that you go out to eat, more than likely you've been eating something that was cooked in Teflon. Yeah. And just to keep everyone, just to plant that little seed in your mind, when you go to a restaurant, especially an average restaurant, a normal one, not a posh one, and you order eggs or you order anything where they're going to be cooking like omelets, a breakfast house, for example, more often than not, the nonstick pans in a kitchen are messed up. Not all of them, especially not the omelet pans, because you want to protect those. But it happens with a lot of use and everything in the kitchen. So normally the pans that a lot of the kitchens use is not in the best quality. So you could be getting a lot of Teflon. Chef, as a Muslim, I want to know what is the best substitute for pork and pig meat? Chicken. Chicken's a good substitute. I mean, it's not the same, but chicken's easy. Beef has a flavor to it, but chicken, I would say, is better.
That's what happened when you do live TV, folks. You see what happened? I burned the butter. That's okay. You know what it did? It helped me. It's like nice brown butter. It helped me.
That's right. Beurre noisette. Yeah, just add a little beurre noisette.
Seal the pan right there. So here we go. Little butter. Reduce the heat. That's what happened when you do live TV. You get the pan ready and they get too hot.
Mythos. What about porcelain nonstick? Or you mean like ceramics? You can use ceramics. I've used them, but again, no. Personally, I stick to cast iron and stainless. If I have to, I use nonstick. But if I don't have to, I won't use nonstick. And Pele, does copper work more or less the same as stainless or as other uses? The thing is with copper is that a lot of pans will be like stainless steel lined on the inside. So it's a copper pan, but the inside stainless. Copper is good. Copper conducts heat very well. And copper pans, I would love a set of copper pans because they cook wonderfully. But the problem with copper, good pans, like good copper pans, is that they're extremely expensive. When you're not wanting to spend like 200 on a Dutch oven, but a copper pan will cost you maybe 400. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for an average person to spend that money on all the kitchen equipment. If you can get a good set of pots and pans for like $200, if under, stainless steel, stick with that. Hi, Mighty Wolfie. I'm doing good. How are you? Yeah, copper pans are very expensive. I mean, you can go to some of the best makers and see their line to copper pans, and they'll be in the hundreds per pan.
I forgot what I was going to talk about because this got me distracted. So this is going to be a really nice, easy sauce, folks. We're going to make a little sage mushroom sauce.
Okay.
And we're going to put the ingredients in that sauce that are familiar to this dish. And so we're going to put a little pepper, little salt in there. And how we doing over there, folks? Like I said, if it's small, if they're very small, you can probably do them in a fry pan. And when they're thick, you may want to finish them in the oven a little bit for a few minutes. But you can do them in a fry pan also.
Yeah. So what he's doing right now, Chef Jean-Pierre, is just getting a nice sear. on the steaks, on the pork chops. That's it. And then he's going to pop it in the oven. For the price of a copper pan, you can get a Hexclad. Yeah, Hexclads are not cheap. I mean, I did that one collab with them, and I saw the prices because I didn't see. They sent me like 3 pans, and I saw the prices of the pans they sent me, and I honestly thought to myself, my goodness, whew, I hope they last. Eh? And so far, I mean, they're working, but again, the difference is when you buy a lot of this equipment, the equipment that I trust the most is the equipment that I've used in the kitchen. And the cast iron pans that I've used in the kitchen, the stainless steel pans, are the things that I've used professionally, and they've held up for years during professional service.
We're not going to overcook. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Sometimes I forget, and then it comes back. A lot of people overcook pork because they're afraid of trichinosis. Trichinosis has been eradicated 50 years ago, folks. I haven't had a case of trichinosis since I can't even remember when they had one, right? And anyway, a trichinosis dies at 138 degrees. So if you're afraid of it, don't worry about it. As long as you're cooking at 138 degrees, that's actually not cook enough for me. I like it 145, 150. Oh yeah, I like it slightly moist.
All right, so what Chef Jean-Pierre is talking about right now, the trichinosis, is it's a parasite, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't Mozart die from this? I think he died from this, eating undercooked pork. Let me just check this up. Let's see. Mozart. I think Mozart did. Let's see. Wolfgang Mozart suffered acute mysterious illness. Well, maybe not. Okay, I'm maybe thinking of somebody else. But in any case, the problem is that a lot of wild boar, so wild pork, may contain this parasite, and this parasite will live in the meat. So when you eat the meat that's undercooked, that little parasite starts to live in you, and it can be very hard to detect. I'm not sure what the symptoms are or anything like this because it's not one of those common things. It is something you need to concern yourself with. If you eat wild game, specifically, if you go hunting, boil the you know what out of the meat. Also, if I'm not mistaken, with bear, if anyone does hunt, bear meat, supposedly, I'm not a hunter, so I haven't seen this firsthand, contains a lot of parasites. So you have to be careful with bear as well. But pigs, I mean, like pork right now, when you go to the store, you'll see a bunch of TikToks, and fish too, that they'll be talking about. You don't want to be eating any sushi or nothing. It depends on where you get the source from. Radat? Whoa, chef, you know about Mozart? Yeah, of course I know about Mozart. I love listening to Mozart and Beethoven, Bach. I listen to other classical music. I love him. Get prions tested as well. No amount of cooking is removing that. Interesting. Pricks, as a new cook who has never cooked pork, how do you recommend starting into this? I recommend getting a thermometer. Yeah. Get a thermometer, cook it, and then put the thermometer, make sure that it's adjusted, it's calibrated before you do it. Put that into the center of the meat when you think it's more or less done, and see what the temperature is, or the thickest part, I should say. And then if it's at that temp, it should be fine. The thing is that pork, like beef, can be ordered to temp. So you can order pork to a temperature, and this is common in the US, that you order it just like beef. It comes to a temp. Medium, well, very well, pork is extremely dry.
Slightly pink in color. This is going to be fine, probably in a fry pan the whole time. Now we're going to make a little sweet potatoes mash. I use it in a few recipes, but I never showed you how to do it from scratch, so I'm going to show you today. I put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and then since we put a little soy sauce in the brining liquid, we're going to put a touch of soy sauce. That's going to be our salt in there. Okay, that's all we're going to do.
Interesting. He's making a bit of a different pork chops because normally my dad used to make pork chops all the time at home. It's a very English dish to make pork chops for dinner. We would have either mashed potatoes, we would also have cranberry sauce, or we would have applesauce with it, right? Very English. So if you want to make pork chops and you make applesauce, it goes hand in hand with pork. Applesauce is delicious with pork chops. And so is cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, any other vegetables as well. It's very flexible. Let's see, Mighty Wolfie. One thing that I haven't seen here in India is pork cooked in a tandoor. Oh, interesting. It's rare to find pork anywhere as it is, though. Oh, interesting, Mighty Wolfie. Interesting to think about it. No, you don't, do you? I mean, a lot of chicken is on the menu. Well, it depends on the places that you go, the Indian restaurants, over here at least. But I see a lot of chicken on the menus. I really do. You don't see that much pork on the menu. I hope they're not bland. No. No, no, no. Applesauce is a good choice though, but if you're going to make applesauce, you want to get like the Granny Smiths. You want to get the tart ones because then you can add a little bit of sugar to them. Can't wait for homemade applesauce season. Apple picking is just getting started in New York. Aye, Craig, nice. I would love to have some apple trees that I could go pick, honestly, because the ones that we get are local and not a lot of places around here grow apples. It's different, a different type of agriculture here in Spain, but I miss apples, yeah. My dad, it's a bad thing, I shouldn't say it, but when he was a boy in England, we're talking about like 12 years old, 13, he used to do something called scrumping. Now, scrumping is when you see apples or fruit on somebody else's trees and you jump the fence, you take the fruit and you run. That's called scrumping. This used to be a very popular thing in the 60s.
Really, really simple. If you have that porcini mushroom salt, you can put that in there. That would be actually very good. We're going to wait until we have a better color, and then we're going to be doing fine. We're going to reduce it a little bit. Let's take the potatoes, friends. The potatoes are
Scrumping is
cooked.
stealing.
I got to
Yes,
show
it
you.
is.
When I cook the potatoes, friends, see, I shave ginger, and I put whole garlic cloves in here. I can't see them, but they're in there. I put 3 whole big garlic cloves in there. Oh, yeah, I found one. Anyway, it's in there somewhere. I put 3 garlic. This is 2 big potatoes, two large potatoes, right? We're gonna strain them.
Ah, so he's boiled some sweet potatoes with ginger and garlic. Okay. So he's going to be making like a sweet potato puree. You could boil them. This is one option with sweet potatoes. You could also do them in the oven if you want more of that roasted flavor with the mash. That's fine. You could also do 50-50 if you want. Or you could do cauliflower mashed potatoes as well. This is also another option. Orange potato. Eat them sweet potatoes. Yeah, sweet potatoes. Yams. We also call them yams in the US. Biscuits in the States are sweet or savory? In the States, Wilson, biscuits tend to be on the sweeter side. Everything tends to be on the sweeter side. They add sugar to everything. Carla? Oh, I'm happy that you got us live, yeah? Well, normally I don't do lives on Monday. Normally I do it either on like Friday or Saturday, but this week was a little crazy. Romilicious for cross contamination. How bad is it to flip raw meat with the same tongues over and over? Ultimately, serve it out of the pan with the same pair. Well, that's just it. So if you keep touching the same meat again and again and again with the same tongs, like he's doing, if the tongs are in the pan and they get heated, it should be okay. Like especially when you're like cooking on a barbecue, the tongs are over the flames, it's fine. Technically, you should wash them in between, when it's cooking, but I don't know. It depends. It depends highly. It's highly subjective on if the tongues get up to temp. Because I mean, it just depends. on what you're cooking and how you're cooking it. But if you're boiling anything, frying anything, and you're using the tongs also to take the pasta out of the water or something as you're cooking sausage, it's clean. It gets cooked.
We're going to let them drain a little bit. See, the ginger is right there, friends. We're going to take the ginger, put them right there. So the ginger and the garlic both poached. The ginger and the garlic both are poached, which means then they are cooked and mild, especially garlic. We're going to take it now. After it's drained, make sure you take the time to drain them really good, okay? I would probably take a little bit longer if I was not doing live TV. Up, ginger, come back over here, you. There you go. You see, look.
It's the 2-second rule. Yeah. If it's in the sink and it's only 2 seconds, you can take it out. Normally, if you drop anything on the floor or even in the sink, guys, you want to toss it. Yeah. Especially if it's not clean, because it's just not healthy. I mean, not unless it's like spectacularly clean, but not the floor whatsoever. Not with the chemicals.
Friends, you can see the garlic in there, the ginger sliced thin. We're going to put them in here. I want you to take the time to drain them a little more, okay? But I didn't have much time because I'm doing so many things at the same time. Let me make sure we're doing well in here. The sauce is very simple, right? You notice? And those chops right there, friends, are going to be just fine. We're just going to let them rest. We're not even going to put them in the oven.
No, right now, since he's taking so long to make everything out, you can tell that they're starting to curl already, and they're going to be cooked pretty soon. I mean, pork chops don't take that long to cook. They really don't. And if you have a grill, pork chops on the grill, even better. Or ribs. Ooh, ribs are delicious. Eat 'em. Funnily, here we have a 5-minute rule instead of a 5-second rule.
It'll be just fine. Yeah, let him cook. Let him cook. Okay, let's process the potatoes. Now, you can't do that with regular potatoes, friends. Sweet potatoes is the only one you can do that. Regular potatoes, they'll get gummy. You don't want a gummy mashed potato, that's for sure. But the sweet potato, they can take it. I'm going to put a little bit of cumin, very little. Cumin is wonderful, folks, in a small dose. Very, very little cumin. And a little bit of maple syrup. Oh, wow, it's a little maple syrup. I like very little maple syrup. And we're going to put a little bit of pepper. Everything is doing well.
Well, the maple syrup just adds a little bit of that sweetness, and if you buy real maple syrup, it'll make a real difference, because the majority of maple syrup at the store is not like authentic maple syrup. But since it's already the sweet potatoes, you don't really need it. I mean, just for the flavoring, yes, but for the sweetness, you don't.
You know what I forgot? I forgot my masala wine, but it's in my bar. I was wondering if somebody could get it for me. My masala wine. Because I forget it. Here we go.
It's a very sweet cooking wine. It's a wine, Marsala wine. We use it a lot to make sauces, to cook with. Very sweet. So this is a wine that, I mean, you could drink it separately, but it's used in the kitchen a lot. Marsala, yep.
I'll put a little masala wine in that sauce, folks. We're going to process those potatoes and hope that they get all mixed up pretty good. It looks good to me.
It looks like it's having a little bit of an issue with the mixer. If you get a Thermomix, you wouldn't have this issue.
There you go. The masala wine appears. That's great. I'm going to put a little bit of masala wine. And the masala wine, friends, is a fortified one and does not need to be reduced. So here we go. Those chops are going to be ready. I'm going to take them out. I'm gonna take them out, friends. They're ready.
Ooh, sushi.
Done.
Oh yeah, no, they look done. You can start to tell after cooking a lot when something starts to look more done. You can tell right now that these have shrunk, and you can also tell that it looks like the muscles are a little is tense, no? Because the moisture as is cooking is being squeezed out of it. With pork, you really, really, really don't want to overcook pork. Like if you overcook it, it will be dry as a bone. You do not want it. Yeah, no, you do not want it. Um, if you can cook pork to about 145, this is good. Eggs, I believe it's been a while since I've seen the temp charts for the US and since I remember them, but I think it was 165. You have to get eggs up to temp, scrambled eggs and everything. And then, of course, beef. Beef is easy because beef you can cook to temp without any worry. Pork, you need to cook it to a certain temp. And chicken, the same thing. Funny. You need to cook that to a certain temp as well, because that is one meat that you do not want to eat undercooked. And yet, if I'm not mistaken, there is a place in Japan that serves chicken like sashimi. So just like the sushi, they serve the chicken raw. So you have to handle the chicken very carefully if you're going to be doing that.
I'm gonna take them out. We're gonna take them out. Let's see, make sure.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. You can see as he's poking it, how it's starting to
They feel it
jump.
a little bit undercooked. You know what I'm gonna do?
So you see like that resistance, no? When he starts poking it, it's kind of like a balloon is coming back at him. It's done. Like, it looks done.
I'm gonna do what I tell everybody to do. Check temperature. They feel pretty good. Those potatoes are done. And let's check the temperature, friends. Let's see what we got. I think we can give them another minute or two. Okay, they felt a little rare at this point, still. Now, as much as we don't want to undercook them, we don't want to overcook them either. I'm not worried about the bottom of it, because we're going to use that sauce, okay?
What you could do in this stage is actually put the heat on either low or just turn it off and allow the residual heat to continue cooking the pork chops in the pan, because the pan's still hot. So that residual heat will continue to cook it. It doesn't need to be cooking it at the temp that it's at. But if you leave it 5 minutes in the pan and let it cool down a little bit, it would be okay to do that. Also, if you want to leave it in the pan, you're going to plate everything, and if everything gets a little cold, you want to make sure that it's not fully overcooked, because if you have to reheat it a little later on, you have to stick it back in the oven or in a thing to flash it, meaning to reheat it quickly. Overcooking is not good.
So, did I put the masala one? Yes, I did. Let me put a little stock in there, friends. Really simple sauce, eh? You know, I always forget something, right? I almost forgot the sage. But almost doesn't count. I'm looking. Did I forget anything? No, I didn't forget anything. Let's check the potatoes. Let's see what we got here, friends. A little smoother, a little smoother.
All right, so he's cooking live. This is something that I would love to be able to do because he has a crew, and me, I can't do it because I don't. Anyway, he's cooking live, and he's talking as he's cooking. It is very easy to get a little, like, forgetful and, like, as you're cooking what's going on. And I think he's also a little tired because, keep in mind, he's in his 60s, if I'm not mistaken, his late 60s. And he may be making more than one video at once. And normally when you make pork chops and you do all this work and all the prep, it takes a while. And he's funny, Chef Jean-Pierre. He's a laugh, honestly. I love watching him.
Let me do a little smoothie on the potatoes, and I'm almost done. Yes, I'm almost done. A little smoother. And then you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna add butter. Yes, friends, we're gonna add butter.
I think he likes butter, no? You can see a smile on his face with his tongue sticking out. He's like, he really likes it. He's a French chef, and French chefs love French cuisine. And what do they use in French cuisine? They use a lot of butter in French cuisine. It's very typical to use butter. In the South, they use a little more olive oil because it's closer to the Med. But for the majority of France, butter. And Chef Jean-Pierre is a French chef. I can tell. I've worked in France. I've worked with French chefs in multiple countries, and they love their sauces. This is a very important thing in France, the sauce. So normally, when you make pork chops, you can serve it with demi glaze, with sauce demi. That's fine. It's an easy thing to make. You can serve it with basically whatever. I mean, it goes with a lot, pork chops. Void God, it takes multiple attempts to learn how to handle French food. It does and it doesn't. Yeah, if you're going to be making like a simple recipe or anything like coq au vin, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And if you make it more family style, it doesn't matter. You don't need to make it perfect. But I should make coq au vin. I mean, I have recipes for coq au vin, um for bouillabaisse. My dad had a recipe for bouillabaisse. I don't have it on me. And what else? For beef bourguignon, I have recipes and all this. I have them. The only issue is trying to get the bloody ingredients. That's the issue. Because even though I live close, I can't get like pearl onions. I wanted to make beef bourguignon once. This was a few years ago. And I had to because I was doing it. I was making a recipe for somebody for their website and everything. And I couldn't find pearl onions anywhere. I couldn't find them. Bloody hell. Yeah, I know. But in any case, when you make French cuisine, if you make it family style, it does not need to be super laborious. It doesn't, honestly. If you make it and you want to make it super pretty for like haute cuisine, then that's laborious. Void God took me 3 attempts to actually learn it. Well, oh, it depends. I mean, it if you mean all of the cuisine, Void God, or you mean just a few dishes? Oh yes, love butter. But we from the Indian subcontinent love our ghee even more. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I know. Ghee is very popular in India.
Let's see. Oh yeah. But there's a down. See how simple that is. Now I do so many different things with sweet potato mash, friends. We could do. We could add some corn in there. I saute some corn with.
Pricks, do chefs lick the bowl batter? Well, yeah, it depends, Pricks. I mean, it depends, but normally we do. Yeah, we taste. We always taste.
The onion and rosemary. Sometime I put it in there. You can do so many cool things with sweet potato mash. But this is a really simple, quick, easy recipe for you to do at home. Oh, mamma mia. There you go. And then.
All right, quick. No, it's not a quick recipe. It's not a 10-minute recipe. An hour to an hour and a half, I would say, is around the time that you're going to be spending doing this because it will take a good half hour, if not more, for the sweet potatoes, depending on how thick you cut them. But this is not a 10-minute recipe. So if you want to make this in like 10-15 minutes, forget about it. Go make I made a pizza in 15 minutes. Go check out my video. But make something else. Make a stir fry, something else. If this is going to be a recipe that you're going to spend a good hour and a half on, okay, then it's a perfect recipe.
And all we need at this point, friends, is butter. Yeah. And do it while they're still hot. You see?
Oh, he loves butter.
Don't be shy now. Don't be shy.
No, don't.
You know I'm not shy when it comes to the butter. And this right there, my friends, a wonderful sweet potato mash. And look how simple that was to make. Look how simple that was to make, right? And here we have it. How are we doing on the pork chop?
Chef, can I ask a OOT question at the end of chat? OOT? What is OOT? Overtime? Is it overtime? Sure, you can ask questions. Out of topic. Okay, out of topic. Sure, not a problem. It's not a problem. I don't text with all this hyperbolage, honestly. When I text, I normally text normal. I don't use slang.
Oh, this time they're down. This time they're down. I'm
Oh,
going to check
that's
them
nice.
just in case,
That's
but I think
nice.
they're down. Remember, don't be afraid to check them. People said, "Oh, if you poke them, you're going to release all the juices." That's so not true.
No.
If you poke it, you get just a little bit out. Where you poke, that's it.
Yeah.
You're not getting all the juices out. You get just a little bit. So don't be afraid to poke.
No, I fully agree with Chef Jean-Pierre here. Don't worry about it. Ali, do you have any idea what I could make with some salmon? Oh, Ali, well, I have a beautiful little salmon recipe on my channel as well. I only did one recipe though with salmon. It's with a beurre blanc sauce, mashed potatoes, and all that. You can do a lot with salmon. It's easy. And with the salmon leftovers, if you want, you can make little salmon cakes out of them later on, which I also have a video on. All these are old videos, by the way, so if you go back on my catalogs, you'll see them. Void God, why do I always hold the pen? Because I'm taking notes on editing, Void God. So when I edit by myself, and I edit through OBS, but sometimes it doesn't match up with the video that I'm actually reviewing, like it's out of sync. So I have to write down a few numbers every now and then just to make sure that it's still synced, because sometimes it isn't, and it's a pain in the you know what. Wilson, how about showing us your version of an empanada? Oh, Wilson, I did. I've made a couple empanadas. I've made some Argentinian empanadas, which I actually need to redo the recipe a little bit. They were a little dry at the end, the chicken ones. The other ones weren't. But I made those, and then I also made a Galician empanada, a tuna, empanada de atún. It was tasty. Then next, make fish tacos. Ah, Crimson, this is one thing I want to make, fish tacos. This is right. Thank you for reminding me. Void God, I'm really getting into cooking. I hope to be a chef someday. Well, I hope you enjoy it. What I would recommend, if you want to, Void God, well, if you're under 18, then you have a bunch of time. Go work for the summer or for a short time in a good kitchen. Learn a little bit on how they cook and see if you like it. But a good restaurant, not a burger joint where they just flip burgers. A good place where you'll learn. Even if you're washing dishes, you'll still be in the environment. You'll still learn. You'll still hear what they're doing and see what they're doing. And it will help you a lot more than just going to work at, I don't want to put anyone down for working at a fast food joint, but it's just that if you want to be a chef, then fast food is not the place to start. Good to hear, Void God. Mighty Wolfie, salmon and croûte. Salmon and croûte. This is another one that I want to make. Yes, salmon and croûte's a good one. Salmon and croûte is delicious. I made salmon and croûte not that long ago too. Well, for myself, I didn't make a video for it. I should make a video on it. It's tasty. It's easy. Very easy.
Okay, you're not going to hurt him. All right? And I'm right now at about 125, friends. So we're still not ready. Well, oh, this one, let me see. No, actually, I'm good. I'm good.
You want to test the thickest part or closer to the bone. So he's testing the outside, which is okay because he's testing multiple spots, but you want to test and make sure.
I'm good. All right. We're going to let him right there. We're good. Let's turn him off. The mashed potatoes. Let me test it, friends. Let me make sure it's good. Oh, I got my microphone wide out. Let me check them to make sure they're good. They're delicious. The sauce. We can certainly leave the sauce like that, but it's a little thin. So you know what I like to do. A little bit of cornstarch. Don't be shy. A little bit of cornstarch is not going to hurt you.
A little
whisk
bit
would
goes
help.
a long way.
The minute we put it in, we want to whisk it in. The minute you put in your cornstarch, just make sure you thicken it. That's all. You see See how fast that went? Holy moly, that smells amazing.
The only thing about cornstarch that I don't like is that it leaves a texture in your sauce. So you can see that the sauce has this glaze, and it's just something that I don't like. You can honestly tell, like, if a sauce has a lot of cornstarch, that it has it. And this looks like it has it. You could also take a little bit of butter, mix that in a little bit of flour, and add this to the pan. The reason why, though, that's not good, this is more traditional French cooking, is that if anyone has a gluten allergy, that's a problem. So cornstarch is better.
The sage, the sauce. Let me check it for salt. Let me check it to make sure it's good for salt, friends. Let me reduce the heat. I don't need that much of a heat. Oh, this is hot. It is going to be very hot. I got to be careful. Delicious. As long as you like sage. I don't know, you could use tarragon. That'd be good. You know what could be good also in there is a little bit of cream. You could do that. You could add a little bit of cream. All right, friends. Let me make a plate for that.
Tarragon also goes with pork. It's a very like common herb to go with pork. Easy to put in your sauce if you want to make it. Even if you want to make like a sauce béarnaise to go with this, you could. It's not a big deal. It'll easily go with it.
Dinner. Let me make a plate for dinner. Oh yeah, look at that. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Now what we could do also, friends, we could deglaze this. You know what? Let's do it. Take a couple of more minutes on the video, but I think it's worth it. Okay? Now this right there, friends.
I'm sure that his editors are just saying like, oh no, please, no, not anymore, chef, please. Because I'll tell you, some of the videos to edit, they're a nightmare. Isco, chef, I'm about to work as a cook on board an LNG ship, so I really need your advice about any documents I should follow. Oof, I've never worked on ships, Isco. I'm sorry, I don't know what you should do. Other than make sure that all your papers are organized, I don't know. I mean, obviously you need your passport, you need your ID, you need all the common stuff. But what other paperwork that you should do, I have no idea. My dad, for a while, he's worked on Norwegian cruise lines, so he had to go through training at Quantico, Virginia, to get his merchant marine's license. And he was showing me all the stuff that he went through. He had to learn how to put out fires, how to rescue, how to save people, a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with cooking. So he went through all that, but that was all organized by the company. So I don't know. I'm sorry. If I were you, Google and ask, yeah, online, Google to see what you need, or ask whoever is hiring you. They should be telling you what you need to start, because if they don't, then that's not correct. They need to tell you on what you need to start. What I would recommend, though, is to get some non-slip work boots. You need to get those. Yeah, just type in non-slip chef shoes, and that should be good.
We're going to take him here, rest for a minute. Stay here, don't go anywhere. And what we're going to do, we're going to take the fat out of there. Take the fat out. And take a little bit. This is too good, too good. A little bit of the marsala.
He's excited.
Because remember, marsala wine is one of those fortified wine that doesn't need to be reduced, right? So that's the cool part. We can just do that. You can use Port, Madeira, Marsala. I use them all the time because I love them. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this
In the sauce.
this fond deglazed into my sauce. But however,
He's going to strain it.
I'm not going to put, there's a little bit of burnt bits in there, right? So I'm not putting them in there. That's why I'm straining them, see? Straining them because I don't need the burnt bits right there.
He only wants the
All I
flavor.
needed was
He
the
doesn't
flavor.
want, little bits.
And
with
guess
it.
what? Right there, my friend. You have an amazing sauce. And the whole thing really took a little bit. I mean, it didn't take that.
Hi, Miranda. How are you? I hope you're doing better. Are you okay? Chef, I have everything. I'm asking about checklists and inventory lists like FIFO and so on. Okay. All right. No, no, no. Good, good, good. But definitely Google just to double check on what you need because again, it's something that I've never done. So if I were you, I'd be double and triple checking everything.
Long to do the whole thing. And you know what'd be good in that sauce? You said it. You're correct.
Butter.
Don't be shy.
Butter.
Don't be shy. Everybody loves butter. Everybody loves butter. Everything is better with butter. That's all. Everything is better with butter. Butter is the love of food. It makes everything good. You see, look at this, friends. Now this, I gotta test it again. Friends. And let's see what we got.
Yeah, he's put a lot of butter in there, pricks.
Okay, how do we plate this? Do I have a clean plate? Yeah, I got one right here. We're gonna do this very simple, friends. All right? We're gonna do this very simple. We're gonna take a ice cream scoop and we're gonna put our mashed potatoes. It's not big enough. You need a big one. Big scoop. I need my big mama scoop. I could have taken a spoon. It would have been the same deal, really.
You don't need to use an ice cream scoop, honestly.
Same deal, right there with a spoon. Look at the mess I got. I got a mess in here today. Where's my chop? Let's put the chop in here, right there. Very simple. Then we're going to take a little bit of that sauce right there. And we're going to put it, I could have put some vegetables in there, friends.
Yeah, you could have.
But I didn't have time to do this. You can certainly put the sauce all over the chop.
You could have added a little bit of like broccolini or something that cooks in an instant. It's easy. Some carrots or something. Baby carrots would also go with this nicely.
I think we're going to be a little more elegant here and put a little bit on the side. And you know what we should do? Since sage is a flavor, is the herbs of choice. The herbs of choice. We're going to put a little bit of a sprig of sage. Yeah, a sprig. I put the whole tree of it in there. And all we need maybe is a little broccoli, a little sauteed spinach, and you have yourself right there a nice a pork chop. Let's get into it and see how good it is, my friends.
Now, if you take a look at the plating, this is more old school of putting like putting sage or putting like thyme or putting rosemary or anything whole on the plate. Normally, when you plate, you don't want to put anything on the plate that you can't eat. Now, if you were to serve this is fine because he's doing this for the thumbnail and just for family, family style. But if you were to serve this at a restaurant, you couldn't just eat the raw sage like this. I mean, you could, but the majority of people are not going to because it's not going to be nice. You don't want to eat it. So anytime that you get like this at a restaurant, this is very like old school. Yeah, this is what they used to do in the older days. Today, you don't see this very often.
Okay, so we got a knife and a fork.
I think he cooked it to about 145.
And we're ready to go. All right, so what we're going to do is just going to cut right in there. And we're going to cut into it. And see, it's slightly pink. I mean, it's not pink. It's slightly pink still on the inside. It's a little too big of a bite for me to take. I just want to take a little bit of it right there. But this is so tender. Oh, look at this, my friend. It's perfect. And the mashed potatoes with it. And the sauce with it. All of those flavors, my friends, are marrying so well. It's a lot of prep to get going. Remember, you got to chop your mushrooms and all that stuff and the potatoes and all that stuff. But it's worth the doing. I promise you, you guys are going to love it. Thank you for watching. Remember, thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.
He's fantastic. I love watching him. It's a shame that he retired, but as it says here, he's been cooking for more than 51 years. So, I mean, Chef Jean-Pierre does a great job. He's fun to watch. And he did great. He did fine. The only thing is that this is a simple plating. Normally you want a little like vegetable or something to go with it. So, I don't know, broccoli, a little bit of cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, anything, parsnips, carrots, anything, beets. Beets go with them. It's great. Beets are delicious with this. So it just depends on what you want, but you can make it easy. So if you make pork chops at home, you follow his recipe. It's totally fine and it looks tasty. But I would recommend adding a few veggies here and there because you don't just want to be eating like puree and sauce. Well, maybe you do. Who knows? Okay, now for the questions. Any questions, off topic questions? No? Oh, chat's gone quiet. I feel like I have a bunch of long comments coming. Oh, now here we go. Okay. Recently, Hollow Knight Silk Song has been released. Hollow Knight Silk Song. Won't you play the game? Hollow Knight Silk Song. I don't think I've seen it. I don't know. You know what would work? Get it crossed around in the pan, but leave it rare since it's lengthways. Fill it with salmon and brie. Put it in the oven. We're talking about the pork chops right now, or not? I think we're talking about salmon and croûte, no? Um, Reese. Oh, is my chat gone again? I think my chat's gone again. Oh, okay. Give me a second, guys. Let me see on the videos. It seems like my chat's going in loops again. One moment. One moment. But no, I haven't been playing that game. I haven't been seeing a lot of games that have been going, well, coming out recently. Okay, now I think the chat's working now. All right, that was weird. A little hiccup. This was the question. If we were to do a whole pork loin, would it be more beneficial to brine or actually inject the loin? Well, you don't need to inject it. If it's like a small loin, you don't need to. You really don't. If it's a big piece of meat, then you can inject it. But honestly, you don't need to. Chef, have you ever tried Algerian cuisine? No, I haven't. I never have. I've tried Moroccan cuisine, but not Algerian. I heard that the game was so good that even the game pirates didn't want to pirate the game. Really? I'm going to have to look it up. All right, so what if you know what? Maybe this was actually a really good video, and maybe I'll do a reaction to this, even though now that I've seen it live. But I can explain a few more things that I would like to have explained here. So, in the old days, you had larding and barding. All right, two different things, two different methods on trying to make sure that a steak is going to be moist. Barding, if I'm not mistaken, because you can get the two confused, yeah. Barding is what we do normally with meatloaf. No, you take a little bit of bacon and you wrap the fat around it. So you wrap the fat around the outside of the steak or the meat or whatever you're going to be cooking. Larding is when you take a larding needle. This is a piece of kitchen equipment that a lot of kitchens don't have anymore. And you take a little ribbon of or a little string of fat, and you literally skewer the meat. So you will see literally multiple like skewers going through a piece of meat or multiple little pieces of fat in the meat, and this will help prevent the meat from drying out. So this is an old technique of trying to prevent meat from drying out. Today we don't do this. Today we use other methods and we have other things, but it used to be more common. So larding does not have to use lard. No, larding used to use, well, you could use technically other types of fat, yes, because lard is pork fat. So you could use tallow, or cow fat. You could use other types of fat. Do say Piley, do meat restaurants buy also what? Also get injected with water in general? You mean does the meat with the restaurants get injected? All right, so this is another thing. Sometimes, yeah, and I don't know if my local meat, if they do this or not, but it is a thing. At some companies and some meat plants, and I have to be careful saying this too, I don't know, truly, I don't know who does this and who doesn't. They will inject the meat with certain solutions or water to make the meat look bigger than it is to amplify it. This is a bad practice because it's not the real thing, right? Because you're paying by weight a lot of the time when you buy meat, and normally you have to pay more. And this is a way of scamming you, and I don't agree with it. It's also something that you don't want to see added to your meat. So normally when you look at the ingredients, when you go to the store or anything, that they'll say that this meat has blah 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 blah, read the ingredients. Or if you go down to your local butcher and you buy from a butcher, ask them. It's better to buy from your local butcher because they deal with the meat, even though it's a little more expensive. It tends to be local. Well, guys, I need to get going because I have to cook dinner and I have something in the oven right now. But I hope you enjoyed tonight. I apologize for this not being a little longer than, well, than it is or than it has been. But I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun to watch Chef Jean-Pierre and it was fun to talk to you. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me on YouTube or anything at all. And if anybody is on TikTok, by the way, be sure to join me on TikTok. Yeah. Oh, on Twitch, of course, as well. Yes. If anybody is on Twitch or if you have a Prime account, you can add me on Twitch for free for 1 month subscription. Yeah. It's free with Amazon. So you don't have to pay anything. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great week. Take care. Enjoy summer while it lasts. And if anyone wants to, well, see, I've been posting shorts daily. So if you want to see those, check those out. But the next live may not be until the following week. I don't know yet. Maybe we'll do a live this weekend, maybe on Friday. But until then, take care, guys. Yeah. Thank you.